Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be making a chunky blanket in under 2 hours. So let's get started. So the first thing we have to do is we have to make what they call a slip knot. So this is what I'm doing right now. What I'm doing is I'm taking the yarn, folding it over itself, and then taking the long piece that I have in my hand right now and pulling it through to make a knot. Now we're going to go ahead and start our chain, which basically means we're just going to grab the working yarn, which is of course the long string, and we're going to pull it through itself just like I'm doing now. And we're going to do, well, I did mine about 16 times because I wanted my blanket to kind of be a little bit wider. So I just did it 16 times, and then after that I go on to the next row, which I'll show you in a minute. Now it's time to go ahead and go to the second row. So what we're going to do is we're just going to take that working string, after we of course flip the whole chain, we're going to take that working string and we're going to pull it through the top loop of each chain. So that means by the time you get done, if you did it like mine, you'll have 16 loops by the time you get to the other end. One thing that I would like to mention is, like, when you're putting these loops through, be mindful that you're not pulling too hard, or too hard, because if you do, then you're gonna end up making the previous loop like get very small and tight, and you kind of don't want that. But you don't want the loops to be overly big either, so you have to make sure that they're big enough but not too big. Okay, so this next part is very important. When you going back over to the other way, you always skip the first loop. If you paid attention, I skipped the first loop. And the reason why we do that is so we can have a nice edge or a nice chain going up the side, so it can be all nice and neat and together. So you always skip the first loop, and you do this same process going back and forth to the whole rest of the blanket. Always skip the first loop and then just do everything else regular, and then just go back and forth like I'm doing now. Okay, so now I'm coming to the end of my first scheme of yarn. So literally all I'm going to do to attach the next scheme is literally I'm just going to tie it together and keep on going how I've been going. Just tie it in a knot and then keep on making my loops how I've been making them. Remember to always skip the first one when you start a new row. Oh, look at that baby running past. I tried to get her to stay on my video, but she didn't. Anyway, so just keep on going until you finish this, and then however many balls of yarn you have, you just keep on attaching it once you get to the end. And then after this, it's going to be time to cast it off. Okay, so now it's time to cast off. So what we're going to do is you're going to take the first loop and put the second loop into it. Then we're going to take that loop and put the next loop into that. And you just do this all the way to the end. And then once you get to the end, you just take the little tail piece and just tie it within the last loop, which I'll show you. But that's just how you tie it off. And then you just go ahead and take that tail and kind of like weave it into the rest of the blanket, but I'll show you that at the end. I also forgot to mention that when you're casting off, you always start on the side that don't have the tail end on it. So you see this tail piece in my hand, that's why I started on the other side, because you always start on the opposite side of the tail. That way, when you get to the end, you'll be able to use the tail to tie the end of the cast off. So here's the finished blanket now. By this point, this is my second blanket of the day because I learned a little bit with each blanket I did. Like my first blanket, the hose was a lot bigger because I did it a lot looser. So I decided to do it again. And this is how this one turned out. Now, this is my first time, well, this day was my first time ever doing these blankets. So I feel like it turned out pretty good for it being my first time. But I'm going to do it again, so I can get more practice, so I can be better, because I kind of want the hole still to be a little smaller. So, but this is how it turned out, so I'm pleased. I like it.